Greetings and welcome to episode 41 of Change Your Focus, a mindfulness podcast designed to inspire and center you. I am Dr. Aiko-Douglas, your host, transformational life coach, life integration specialist, and mindfulness practitioner, here to empower you to transform your life one mindful decision at a time. I'm also here inspiring you to be mindful of the products you use on and in your body, as well as the products you use around your home. In last week's episode on grief, I shared one of the toughest grieving experiences I had when my grandma Shirley transitioned. It took me about 18 months to flow through the 5 stages of grief, oftentimes returning to certain stages and experiencing some all at the same time, until I arrived at a place of peace and wholeness again. While it was no easy process, I healed gracefully, and I am grateful for Divine's comforting hand that held me. And as I've shared until this day, I still think of her often, summon her, and have fun with her in the most loving and healing ways. So, if you are grieving the loss of someone or something, may you feel comforted during this time. If you found my story last week inspiring, or the meditation enlightening, or if any of the information was fruitful, please share. Also, if you have any questions about the episode or would like coaching to support you as you grieve, please click my Calendly link in the description or message me on social platforms at Integr8 Lyfe. That is INTEGR, the number 8, and life is LYFE, Integr8 Lyfe. And then when you click that link, you can schedule a complimentary discovery session. I would love to support you. A huge thank you to everyone who is supporting me by voting for me daily to be the next Fab over 40. Guess what, y'all? I made it to the final round. Yay! So now I'm competing against the other top 1%. Remember, this campaign is raising money for the National Breast Cancer Foundation. I am sending so much gratitude to all those who have donated and continue to donate to the cause. Also, I'm sending a special thanks to those who are casting your free vote daily. You're taking a minute of your time to click that link and click vote for me each day. That means so much to me. I really appreciate you and I feel the love. If you have yet to vote, please use the Fab Over 40 link in the description to vote for me daily. I'm inviting you all to set a daily reminder on your phone at a specific time each day, preferably before 8 p.m. each day, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time each day, and vote for me, right? Set that daily alarm to vote. Go on to the Fab Over 40, vote for Saiba, and do that 1 minute each day. Set that reminder, and I would really appreciate it. The finalist voting ends this Saturday at 8 p.m. PST. So that's coming up. That's about 6 days you have to consistently vote, and then that reminder can go away. I would appreciate it. I thank you for your time, your vote, and your support. Okay. So let's get into it. Today's episode is about legacy. Now, I invite you to contemplate this Dakota proverb. We will be known forever by the tracks we leave. I'm going to say that again. We will be known forever by the tracks we leave. When I contemplate this quote, I think about the most recent media moment with Mike Tyson when he responded to a young reporter named Jaslyn who was interviewing him by telling her, and I quote, when she asked him what his legacy would be, legacy is nothing. That's another word for ego. It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm going to die and then it's going to be over. Who cares about legacy after that? No, we're nothing. When we're dead, we are dust. Our legacy is nothing. Where do I begin? First, let me say, I did not watch the fight. I had no interest in the fight whatsoever. Not to disrespect Mike's career or legacy as a professional boxer. It's just not a thing that I enjoy. However, I did see his interview, and I believe Oprah said it most eloquently when quoting what Maya Angelou told her about legacy when she thought it would be her school in Africa. Maya shared, "You have no idea what your legacy will be. Your legacy is every life you touch. It's every person who ever watched your show and felt something." So let's look at what legacy means. The best definition I found is the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc. that took place in the past or of a person's life. So, if we think about Maya's words to Oprah, she was referring to Oprah's impact. Our impact will be our legacy. If we refer back to what Mike Tyson said to Jazzy, the teenage reporter, his words give the impression that our impact is nothing. When we are gone, and to hell with what we have left behind. What a dangerous and irresponsible way of thinking and speaking about legacy. It implies that we don't matter and the things we have done, our contributions to this world, our communities, our teams, don't matter. So let me ask you something. Is there an I in team or not? Well, I'm going to say it like one of my coaches from Discover Leadership would say it. There is absolutely an I in team. You matter. What you do can either support the team in winning or deter the team from winning. Therefore, what you are contributing or withholding from the team has a direct impact to the team's ability to win. Your contributions to this world are either building up and bringing together or tearing down and breaking apart this world. Your impact matters and is creating a legacy whether you choose to acknowledge that or not. Muhammad Ali, you all know Cassius Clay, understood this, and as a result, his legacy is phenomenal. He used his fame and fortune as a professional boxer to make an impact in the civil rights movement. He was mindful of his influence and ability to help advance the history of Black people in America. So, as you all know, this month is Native American History Month. And this Thursday is what many refer to as Thanksgiving Day. And so another thing I think about after hearing this Native American proverb is the legacy of more than 400 years of brutality against Native Americans and other Native people. Choosing to celebrate Thanksgiving without acknowledging this disregards centuries of cruelty against Native people. Unfortunately, I was not taught this in school like many others. They chose to paint a more palatable story for us around this land and natives. So in my ignorance, like many others, I celebrated the holiday being grateful for my people, my friends, family, great food, and never once acknowledged natives. And get this, folks, my great-grandmother Ruth was Native American. This makes me think about the American legacy of covering up wrongs in this country and telling false narratives to make its savagery palatable. I think about the legacy of prejudice, oppression, and racism in this country, and America's refusal to acknowledge it and refusal to repair and restore those who've been harmed. I think about America's legacy of stripping races of their rights and their history just to write its own narrative and putting it in school textbooks and integrating it into educational curriculum to perpetuate cultural bias. Hmm. So, let me tell you a true story, the true story of Thanksgiving. In case you still don't know and you're celebrating without acknowledging Native people and their legacy of honoring and respecting all of nature and the land. And in case you are still referring to the indigenous people here in America as Indians. And if you are failing to acknowledge their great contributions to this land and this holiday, may you perpetuate the false stories no more. So, Thanksgiving became an official U.S. holiday November 1863. During the Civil War, President Abe Lincoln established the holiday to improve relations between the North and the South, as well as between the U.S. and tribal nations. Just 1 year prior, corrupt federal agents kept the Dakota Show, by the way, that's the tribe, a specific Native American tribe, from receiving food and provisions. And when they were on the brink of dying from starvation, the tribe fought back in the Dakota War of 1862. And at the end of this mass execution, President Lincoln ordered 38 Dakota men to die by hanging. So, Thanksgiving was an attempt to bridge the hard feelings amongst natives and the federal government. So, like we see, this horrible history has been polarized and limited to one day to acknowledge and show gratitude for harvest, the land, family, friends. And many get together and have fun and never acknowledge the native people. While the natives have a daily practice of respecting, reverencing, and honoring the land and their harvest instead of just one time, one day of the year. It's a practice, it's a daily practice for them. And so, not only that, but Christopher not only took their land, gave them diseases, killed their tribes, stripped them of their language, but he referred to them as Indians because he was too ignorant to know he was not in Asia, the Indies. So, till this day, people still disrespect the indigenous people by referring to them as Indians. This is like insult and injury, insult to injury. This is such an ugly narrative, and it is truth. And if we are truly to heal, we must face the ugly truth about our American history and the legacy we are creating by continuing to perpetuate this false narrative. Teaching the factual history can heal and restore the native narrative within American history. In our every deliberation, we must consider the impact of our decisions on the next 7 generations. This is an Iroquois proverb. I'll read it again. In our every deliberation, we must consider the impact of our decisions on the next 7 generations. While I was not always aware of my impact, and I too once thought it didn't matter or I didn't matter, I am glad to know the truth that everything I put out into the universe impacts me and others and will for years to come. Although I am not certain what the totality of my impact or legacy will be. I understand that my actions are impacting people all over the world, as well as my inactions in ways that I don't even know, I can't even fathom. Therefore, I understand my assignment as a teacher, nurturer, healer, lover, and free spirit. And I take it very seriously. I am intentional with my thoughts, words, and actions. I consider the impact that my decisions will have on people, animals, Mother Earth, and the planet. I am aware of the tracks I am leaving behind, and I understand just how much I really matter in the grand scheme of life. So, instead of continuing to perpetuate this false narrative and cultural bias, I choose to share the truth and stand in solidarity with Native Americans and acknowledge this fourth Thursday of November for what it really is, a National Day of Mourning. Since 1970, folks, the National Day of Mourning has been observed in the U.S. How many of you all knew that? Like, have you ever heard of it being called the National Day of Mourning? Have you ever? I'm curious. Please leave in the chat, in the comments, if you knew that, when you found that out. I'm certain it was not in school, something that's not taught, at least not in the U.S. So please share. I'm curious of how many of you all actually knew that it is called the National Day of Mourning, and since 1970, it's been recognized as such after Native American tribes protested. And this is actually I think it was the Wampanoag and the Potawatomi tribes specifically, but they protested and brought attention to the myths surrounding the U.S. holiday of Thanksgiving. And it is a day, this National Day of Mourning, it's a day of remembrance and a reminder of the genocide of millions of indigenous people, theft of native land, and assault on Native American culture. Many natives gather at noon on Coles Hill in Plymouth to commemorate this National Day of Mourning, honor Native ancestors and their struggle to survive. Remember, connect spiritually. These are all of the acknowledgments, the things that are happening at noon on this day when they show up. And there's a monument that's actually there with some of these exact words. And so meeting there, again, to honor their Native ancestors and their struggle to survive, to remember, to connect spiritually with their ancestors, and to protest the racism and oppression which Native Americans continue to experience. So, what tracks are you leaving behind? If you are celebrating, I invite you to acknowledge the indigenous people of this land this Thursday when you're celebrating and gathering with your family. And I invite you to express gratitude for their practices of honoring and respecting this land, not just on one day, but every day. May you remember to honor this planet, this land, your ancestors. I invite you to call it what it really is, a National Day of Mourning. And may every native tribe of this land be remembered and honored today and every day. So in this moment, I would like to guide you through a brief mindfulness practice to honor First Nations, natives, or indigenous people. Before we begin our mindfulness practice, I invite you to sit on the floor cross-legged or on a chair with your feet flat on the floor to ground yourself. Your spine will be straight and your neck an extension of your spine. I invite you to begin to tune into your breath. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling out of your mouth. Begin to slow your breath down, breathing deeply and slowly. That's it, taking your time. And I invite you to close your eyes or lower your gaze, whatever feels comfortable for you. Continuing to breathe deeply and slowly. And I invite you to bring that breath down into your abdomen, feeling it expand on each inhale and contract on each exhale. Breathing deeply and slowly into your abdomen. Allowing your stomach to rise and fall with each breath. And notice what shifts are occurring in your body as you inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. And today I invite you to go back in your mind's eye to this Native American soil, this land. And imagine all the Native people here inhabiting this place, living freely, practicing their rituals, respecting the land, thriving. And then imagine one day those coming on ships, attacking them, taking their land, and forcing them to live in a new way. Giving them new names, new language, forcing them to comply, and killing them off when they don't. Simply imagine this. And I want you to hold each of those original Native people in the highest of light in this moment. Just imagine them surrounded by beautiful white light. And hold them in your heart. And infuse love in that light as you are inhaling deeply and slowly. I'm going to pause for a moment of silence as we honor and remember and recognize the story of Native people as we remember the lives I say thank you to the originals, the natives of this land, and I send love to every ancestor and every Native American still here and thriving. Thank you. Now take the deepest breath you have taken all day. And slowly return to the space when you are ready. I want to acknowledge and thank Ryan Bean for this playing of the Native American flute during our meditation today. Now, to complete our mindfulness session for today, please affirm by repeating after me. I am mindful of my thoughts, words, actions, and habits that are creating the legacy I will leave behind. Yes, it's a long one. Good. Let's say that again. I am mindful of my thoughts, words, actions, and habits that are creating the legacy I will leave behind. Great. One last time. I am mindful of my thoughts, words, actions, and habits that are creating the legacy I will leave behind. Beautiful. That brings us to the end of our session. May you enjoy integrating mindfulness into your life daily. I invite you to be mindful, breathe deep often, and contemplate all the ways you can be more mindful of the impact you have on this earth. Remember, mindfulness is always available to you every minute of every day. May you use each minute to be mindful. I am Dr. Aiko-Douglas, your host, transformational life coach, life integration specialist, and mindfulness practitioner, here to empower you to transform your life one mindful decision at a time. I am also here inspiring you to be mindful of the products you use on and in your body, as well as the products you use around your home. Also, I am sending a special thanks to those who are casting your free vote daily and those who helped me make it to the final round of the Fab Over 40 competition. I appreciate you. I want to remind you to continue to support me in this Fab Over 40 campaign by voting for me daily and donating to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. If you have yet to vote, please use the Fab Over 40 link in the description to vote for me daily. Folks, set a daily reminder on your phone, please. Finalist voting ends this Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please use the link in the description to vote for me to be the next face on the cover of the new beauty magazine, win a spacation in Scottsdale, Arizona, and $40,000. Kindly donate to this worthy cause. Thank you for your vote and your support. If you found this podcast through social media, please share which platform in the comments below. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel to follow my journey and join my exclusive community on Patreon at Integr8 Lyfe. Also, if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, I invite you to rate this podcast episode. Please leave comments as to why you rated it the way you did. I appreciate your support. Thank you for tuning in, listening, engaging, and being mindful with me today. Namaste.